Hi, this is Susan Carlson and welcome to my studio. I would like to show a little bit more about how to create a drawing pattern for fabric collage from your photo. What I've done is I've chosen a photo of one of our dogs, Felix. Now he's a dark dog and I got this great picture of him that has some really nice highlights and shadows, and that's one of the things I'm looking for in a photo. This is the photo I got. I also had it enlarged, so it's just the face. I'm not sure right now which one I want, if I want to do the whole dog or just the face, but I have both of them just in case. And at the same time, I had a black and white done of each one, so I have nice values as well. And you can see this one here. So I can see my black and white values in case I want to change the colors a little bit. So what you need is, first of all, your photo. Then you need some tracing paper. I tend to like a vellum. It's 100% rag vellum in lieu of a regular sort of tracing paper. This has a little more body to it, but it's still, it's nicely translucent. You can see here, I can still kind of see my design through it. And then you also need some tape to secure everything and a pencil. I tend to like a mechanical pencil because it has a really nice sharp point on it. And then the last thing that isn't necessary, but it's awfully handy, is a light box. And that's this here. It's got a glass top to it. I can turn the light on and see through my paper even better than before. For the tutorial, I am going to show you how I would draw a pattern of Felix's face. But I did work ahead a little bit, and I took his whole body and I made a tracing already. And in case you are counting legs, he is missing a leg. He is our little tripod dog. And I wanted to use this to show how, the difference between using a light box and not using a light box. So here it would be without a light box, and because it's opaque underneath it. And yes, you can see your design through it. It's not impossible to do. It's a little easier. If I were to leave this here, you can kind of see it's easier to see it with the light box than without. And if you don't have a light box, you can also use a window, or you could use a glass tabletop with a light underneath it. As I was drawing this, I kept the enlargement handy, even though it wasn't, well, it's enlarged as a cropped version. And then I also kept the black and white version handy. So in case there was a question about what it was I was looking at, then I could refer back to one of those two. And so now I'm going to show you how I would set it up and do the tracing of this beautiful little face. So as I was drawing, you noticed, I'm sure, that I was flipping back and forth, and I could see a little more of the photo, you know, of course, underneath here. So if I had a question about what I was drawing, I could always flip it up. And the more I draw and the more closely I look at the image, the more I'm going to see. So at some point I just have to stop and say, this is plenty of information for me to get started with. I know that the more I work on the dog, you know, a few days, a few weeks into the process, and I'm going to be seeing even more things about him that I hadn't noticed before. So this is good. I have my dark areas, I have the light areas, I have some, you know, important form, you know, like the nose. I know the placement of the mouth and the eyes. So that's what I need to get started. And when I look at this one, and then I even compare it to what I did, here, let me just put this under so you can see the drawing better. If I compare it to what I did on this dog, on the whole image before, you know, I already added more detail in the eye. Of course, it's bigger, and that's an advantage now of working with a bigger photograph to start, because I can see more detail. But there's also more detail that I added in the fur and some of the dark areas. So again, this is the second time I've drawn the same face, and I've seen more things. Now I've got a great drawing of Felix. I have two drawings of Felix. I've got this one here, and I'll pull it off the photo so that you can see it a little better. I've got this drawing of his face, if I want to do that. I've got this drawing of his whole body, if I want to do that one. But now I need to enlarge this. So regardless of how good it looks as a photo, I mean, that's a decent sized photo, right? But this is not a decent sized fabric collage. There's a lot of shapes in here that I'm going to fill with all sorts of fabric before I'm done. So I want to get this bigger. Now in this case, this photo, let's say from ear to ear, is roughly 8 inches. I would enlarge this at least 200%, which would make it 16 inches ear to ear. That would give me some really nice space in, you know, around the nose, the eyes especially. Look at those little details. There's no way I would want to cut multiple pieces of fabric to make those eyes. So I have to make them bigger, and 200% would be a great place to start. If you want to go bigger, go for it. Bigger is better. Now, to do something like that, I'm going to do exactly what I said. I measure this. I decide what I think would work for a good size. I'll take it to my copy center and say, please enlarge this 200%. Or maybe I don't know the percentage, and I know that I want to make it 19 inches, but I don't know what that percentage is. And I can just tell them, please make this 19 inches, and they can do that. Or maybe you can do it on your computer, or maybe you know somebody who can do it on your computer. Like in my case, I know my husband. He could do that on the computer. And for another dog that we had, Pippin, and this was part of, this was the design that I made for Dixie Dingo Dreaming. So here, I wanted Pippin to be life size. So I measured her from head to tail, or to butt. I had her sit and I measured that. And I told Tom, and I said, Tom, here's a drawing I made. You know, I don't have the original drawing anymore, but I said, here, please make this to this size. And he did. It took 15 sheets of paper to do it because he just printed it out on our home computer. But that's fine. I just cut them apart and taped them all together. And now I will take, or I did take this and slipped it under muslin. And whenever I'm ready to do Felix, whichever drawing I decide to do, I will take that enlargement, slip it under my muslin, and draw the design onto the muslin, and it'll give me a really nice start to my fabric collage.